Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here. And in this hypnosis session that you're just about to listen to, you're going to be listening to a habit change hypnosis session that was linked to shame and judgment. And I was working with a client that was very shy, very introverted as a child, had a very moral upbringing with religious connotations about what was right and what was wrong, and had an experience around 11 years old that they associated with doing something that they shouldn't, doing something wrong. And because of that, they felt conflicted because a part of them really wanted to do that thing, and another part of them felt that it was the wrong thing to do. And for some people, the fact that something is off limits, particularly for a child that's becoming a teenager, can make the thing more appealing. I'm deliberately not saying what the thing is, because it is the kind of thing that a lot of people have value judgments about. What's important here is that a seed of an idea was planted in a young child, effectively 11 years old, that influenced future decisions and became a form of escapism and a form of mental distraction. It would help them deal with things like frustration and boredom. But it came from a good place. It came from a place of wanting to have an outlet for connection and even joy, but it's a synthetic version of that reality. It's not reality itself. And the reason I'm being ambiguous in this one is because if you're listening to this, I want you to think about something that maybe you started when you were younger. You have some kind of link to shame or guilt or judgment to, and that you want to change something about your life. And that way you can listen to this without the blinkered lens of attributing it to something and make it more valuable for you. If this isn't quite right for whatever habit or addiction or thing that you want to change, there will be a link in the description that can enable you to book a free consultation call to explore working with me directly. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in that outward breath. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling that tension. And notice, breath by breath, how it almost feels like you're drifting to a place of safety, calm, and relaxation. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. Breathing in the resources you need and exhaling any emotions that feel like they're holding you back. Feel that any shame, any judgment is starting to leave your body in your outward breath. I want you to think of a color that represents acceptance, pure, distilled self-acceptance. Maybe that color is blue or yellow or green. And imagine breathing in that bright color of self-acceptance. But as you exhale, feel that you are releasing any shame or judgment, almost like it's dark shadows leaving your body in your outward breath. Consider each breath part of a transfusion, breathing in that self-acceptance and exhaling any shame, any judgment. And as you breathe in that bright color and exhale those shadows, I want you to start thinking about why someone would feel not good about themselves, irritable, low self-esteem. I want you to get a sense that if someone judges themselves harshly, that they're not living up to their high standards, they might be experiencing something like disappointment. They might be ashamed that they're not living up to those high standards. But what if that shame, that judgment, is not justified? As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to think about why shame and judgment exists in societies. All the way back in medieval England, if someone did something that the community, the village, deemed to be not positive, they would cover that individual in thick black tar and then force them to roll around in feathers of chickens and geese. That public humiliation was designed to do two things: a punishment for the individual that fell below the standards of the village or the community, but it was more a warning to the rest of the villagers to let them know what is okay and not okay. I want you to get a sense that this happened in lots of different communities, and some of these communities were religious. But not all communities followed the same religion. But the individual was tarred and feathered anyway. Perhaps there was someone in a Viking village that didn't believe in Thor or Odin, and they were tarred and feathered. People can experience the punishment even if the crime itself is subjective. And as you hold that thought, I want you to breathe in and breathe out and think of an old fort, a den hidden somewhere in trees or a forest. But I want you to go back to that time as you currently are. And I want you to imagine watching a younger version of you, perhaps just 11 years old, being introduced to something for the very first time. And I want you to imagine that you are an invisible observer. The younger version of you can't see you, but you can see them. And I want you to see the rich variety of emotions experienced in that moment. Emotions like curiosity, intrigue, fascination, novelty, stimulation, surprise, but perhaps caution, a sense of danger that they were doing something wrong. And I want you to imagine a seed of an idea was planted in that young, impressionable mind. A seed of an idea that made something a forbidden fruit. But what if the fact that it was forbidden, not allowed, or not available, the very thing that made it so desirable? Breathe in and breathe out and just observe that interaction, that memory, but not reliving the moment, observing the moment. Your current age, watching you as a child experience something for the very first time. And I want you to imagine seeing that younger version of you when they're on their own. Imagine you're no longer invisible. And I want you to tell that younger version of you that you are them in the future. And of course, I want you to see the face of disbelief, perhaps even trepidation, seeing this older person that they don't know. But I want you to share a secret with the younger version of you that only you both would know, to convince that younger version of you that you are indeed them from the future. And when you've convinced that younger version of them that you are them from the future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to let them know some important information to make this experience no longer a forbidden fruit. You just want to make it something that is a natural part of them growing up, but somehow a stepping stone to real experiences. Tell them it's not wrong, just not useful. And maybe you use an analogy like fast food or candy. It's not wrong to eat lots of candy. It's just not good for your teeth or your health. It's not wrong to eat lots of fast food. But again, not good for your waistline or your health. I want you to communicate that it's not wrong to do this. just not useful. It's not the best use of time. If they want stimulation, they can find real experiences. If they want escapism, a good book or a movie will help them escape so much better. And I want you to imagine giving them so much at that young age before hormones had kicked in. Imagine giving that younger version of you limitless amounts of that thing that they wanted but couldn't have, and see an opposite occur. That because they can have it, they don't want it. And instead of synthetic, fake fantasies, I want you to see that younger version of you craving real experiences. And if you can see that younger version of you where you've planted a new seed of an idea, the forbidden fruit idea has now been replaced with a belief that life is for living and living is real experiences. And if that younger version of you accepts that idea, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to give this younger version of you, at just 11 years old, a gift. A gift of your current levels of confidence for the version of you back then. So that shy version of you in childhood has the courage and the confidence to seek out more real experiences. And I want you to imagine this level of confidence as a glowing ball of energy. Just imagine handing that glowing ball of energy to that younger version of them, and they pull it close to their heart. They absorb all of that confidence, say goodbye, and then go forwards in time to when you're maybe 16 years old. But I want you to see the consequence of 5 years of confidence. What has 5 years of confidence done to that 11-year-old when they become 16? So now be the observer, invisible at first, of you as a 16-year-old, where you're not quite so shy. You've got more of that confidence, a willingness to prioritize real experiences. And if that version of you with all of that confidence is indeed seeking out more real experiences and less synthetic experiences, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that what if you've been trading and substituting real moments for synthetic escapism? And the consequence of that is that it leads to the very frustration you want to avoid. Imagine going forwards in time and see you in a new country at a time when you had constant variety, stimulation of your brain, your mind, and real human connections. And see when that was the case, the desire for anything synthetic was almost negligible. This becomes evidence that that's what you truly crave. real connection, real variety, real experiences, I want you to get a sense that a desire to escape or self-medicate with cheap dopamine is disappearing now. And I want you to imagine all of that shame and judgment is also disappearing. That what someone does in the privacy of their own home is down to them. As long as other people aren't being hurt, no harm is being done. But just because something is acceptable doesn't mean it's desirable. And you might find that as the shame and judgment disappears, so too does the desire. When you can have it whenever you want, don't be surprised if you just don't want it anymore. I want you to imagine drifting in and observing your present self like you're a stranger. And I want you to see a version of you that is prioritizing real experiences, real connection, real moments of stimulation that stimulate you emotionally and intellectually through real things. I want you to think of that country that you got to know, a culture, a language, and the people. That if you read a magazine or a book of the same thing, it wouldn't have been an experience. And I wonder what real experiences you'll find a craving for now in your future. See yourself over the next few days and weeks, where a desire for something synthetic has been replaced with a desire for real things. Maybe a shared experience with a partner, or maybe the stimulation of your own imagination, but nothing synthetic, nothing experienced through a screen. The screen was only ever a stepping stone to activate your imagination anyway. I want you to get a sense that there is a control room in your mind. Just imagine there are two buttons: desire, and then what you're desiring. I want you to increase the button for desire and then switch it from synthetic to real. Your desire increases, but your increased desire is now linked to anything real. Real music, real tastes, real sensations. I want you to get a sense that that is your new craving. And the highest craving of all is real connection. Connection can be a conversation, a hug, a kiss, being present and just listening. And if your unconscious is willing to agree that this is what you've been craving all along anyway, let me know by nodding your head. And then it's time to leave this place in your imagination. But you return with the true version of you being awakened. You never wanted to escape. You wanted to explore. And now you have permission to do that. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. That's it, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.